On to the next topic. Do you anything else on that one you want to talk about? I think we kind of got it all out.
One. Yes, we got.
So there's another one that I actually wanted to talk about, and it is more so about your experience of a third eye awakening, and how has it affected you? How has it taken place in your life in a spiritual sense, and maybe in the outside the spiritual sense, if that even makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, how has it affected you? Okay. Niggas going to sleep on me.
Check it out. No, so yeah, I love that topic and that question. I feel like we've mentioned this already, but yeah. I feel like I've had it without knowing that I had it since I was younger. I feel like younger kids that are more observant and they're quiet, maybe that might have a little bit of spectrum autism in them, who knows, but that's always observing other people and they're quiet and shy, are more hypervigilant and neurodivergent, so they have a more of like a heightened sense of hearing and that's automatically already a third eye awakening, because you have to be in tune with your feelings and emotions and have a high EQ. I personally believe that's way more intelligent than someone having a high IQ, because that's emotional intelligence, EQ. Some people lack empathy, freaking sociopaths and freaking narcissists, anyway, whatever. That's neurotypical. We need to be surrounded by people that are more mindful, and when you're more mindful and more receptive to things, that's like you already like awakening your third eye chakra, because it's nakshatra, as they say, because that's like automatically already connecting you to the spinal cord, which is the kundalini. Yeah, so it's like, and then when you have that mindfulness, you kind of have to remember when your third eye is just randomly open like that out of the blue, you don't really have to be on anything for it to be open. You could just kind of have a realization or a download from the sun that you weren't even like thinking of like to get, like you weren't expecting, or just intuition and discernment. I feel like our spirit giving you answers, or thoughts just being brought up that you never even thought of, and then you just got an answer for it, and people will ask you like, well, how did you get that answer? And it's just like, I don't know, like just something came up and I theorized it, but that's how I feel like it's right. Like I don't need Google for that. I felt like it was right. But then when you have more of the mindfulness and awareness to know that your third eye is open, then you can kind of like move up and level up to where you could be
level up.
Yeah, level up, like level Sierra. Up. I used to love that song. Yes, that you could kind of be on a wavelength to where you will then be able to protect yourself. So that darker forces, because when you have your third eye open, you're vulnerable. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of like in the spiritual realm. You're like kind of higher than 3D. You're kind of tapping into other parts of your body that's been asleep, I feel like, and connecting to the outside
5D
world.
now.
Yes, plus and. I feel like after that, once you know how you're tapped in, to be able to make sure that you only connect with stuff that is one with you. That's all I'm going to say. And make sure that there's not a negative energy that's like trying to come in. Because it's like when you have a third eye open, I feel like the spirit realm is like, ooh, look at that one. Because they read aura. So like, ooh, that one's open. So like, well, let's test its energy. Mm-hmm. You always have to make sure that you're protecting your energy when it's open. You can't just have it open like that. Like, this however you want. So I think my awakening was kind of when I was younger, but I didn't really know what was going on until like I was older and started like diving deep into these things because I was intrigued about it. So like now I know what the meaning is when I have it. I know when I'm having an awakening because of the stuff I've experienced. I know what that is now. When I was younger, I didn't know that stuff. It wasn't even in. Like this type of stuff wasn't even in, and then it started being the fad. Yeah. The fad, like tarot cards and everything. Mm-hmm. And then being one collective started being in. So now I know what it is, what I've been feeling. And my mom's always been like that too. She's always had experiences at 12. A lot of people had experiences at 12. I don't know what this thing is with 12. My friends have that. They had conversations with my mom. My mom's made them cry in a good way, having spiritual conversations because they experienced stuff when they were 12. I didn't get that. I don't know what they're talking about at 12. But I noticed certain things, like I was saying before, like when I was younger, that I was like, I'm kind of different from other people because I'm observing things more and I see things differently. And I was kind of always not like misunderstood. I was always like a black sheep. And then reading on when I got older, I was like, those are all the things of someone that's awakened. They were always outcasted and kind of things like that. People didn't understand them. They were different and stuff like that. So I always kind of had that. So now that I know what it means, I knew that I had that. When I was younger, I knew what that was. Those were some of my experiences.